Hello there. The tourism industry is being reopened on a phased basis, promising to bounce back better and stronger. Between today's pages, the minister guiding the sector lays out the way forward. This is Jamaica Magazine and I'm Adrian Atkinson. Stay with us. This is the show with the information you need to know.
Jamaica's COVID-19 vaccination plan is still in effect.
Persons with appointments to receive a vaccine will be allowed to do so during curfew hours. Persons will be required to present evidence of the appointment. And how it will work is you will show the text message that you would have received or your email to the police.
If you wish to make an appointment, please do so online by visiting moh.gov.jm or by calling 888-663-5683. Vaccination sites will open until 4 p.m. daily. Vaccination still a keep. Go get your jab today.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, May 11. Government will be spending an additional $133.9 million to complete work required for the Harbourview to Port Antonio leg of the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Everald Warmington, made the disclosure during his recent contribution to the sectoral debate. The breakdown includes an increase of $60.8 million for construction on the 15 packages of roadway. $64 million will also be added for the expansion and renewal of the National Water Commission system, while $8.7 million is required for engineering consultancy and project management services. According to Minister Warmington, the increase in cost is due to the scope of work being undertaken on the 110-kilometer roadway.
We are implementing this program like none other. Based on the integrated strategy with water, sewer, telecom and other relevant infrastructure being included, this too will come at an additional cost to the program, but will be of super benefit to the country.
The Ministry of National Security will proceed with the construction plans for the Forensic Pathology Autopsy Suite in Kingston, as well as the Westmoreland Divisional Police Headquarters. This follows approval by Cabinet, which also includes the provision of fiscal support. Both facilities are expected to be completed in 2 years and will cost approximately $1 billion in total. Information Minister Favour Williams says both facilities are expected to improve the security landscape for a safe and secure Jamaica. Further to that, she says the investment will increase the forensic capacity of the Jamaica Constabulary Force and reduce the backlog in criminal and other cases.
The lack of an autopsy suite had resulted in several issues over the years, chief of which was the cost of outsourcing the services to privately operated funeral homes. Over the past 5 years, it has cost the government some $482 million for the storage of bodies.
Minister Williams was addressing last week's virtual post-cabinet press briefing. Plans are now in motion to relocate 60 residents of Wees Road in Bull Bay, St. Andrew. The decision was made by the Ministry of Housing following a socio-economic survey done on the Wees Road and Shooters Hill areas. The communities were severely affected by the passage of Hurricanes Eta and Zeta last October. Housing Minister Pernell Charles Jr. says relocation is the preferred mode of community restoration and will amount to a one-off cost of $962 million. He says the ministry is now in the process of acquiring approximately 30 acres of land to accommodate the relocation of the affected residents. Moving forward, he says the ministry will undertake 7 more socio-economic surveys during the 2021-2022 fiscal year. The Ministry of Environment and Climate Change has launched its Earth Card program, which will accelerate the 3 million tree target under the National Tree Planting Initiative. Through the project, each Member of Parliament will receive an allocation of 100 trees to plant in their constituencies. In addition to this distribution from the Forestry Department, it's expected that parliamentarians will match or exceed the allocations given.
To support our initiative in ensuring that not only parliamentarians, but every Jamaican should be a participant holding an Earth Card, playing their part to achieve the 3 million and more, and understanding as we build out the network to renew Jamaica.
The Environment Minister was speaking during his recent contribution to the sectoral debate in Parliament. He announced that over 500,000 trees have been planted to date under the National Tree Planting Initiative. Pledges have also been made to plant 1.5 million trees in this financial year. Launched in 2019, the initiative aims to plant 3 million trees over a 3-year period in support of the island's climate change and environmental management agenda. The Ministry of Justice is currently targeting 400 Jamaicans as mentors for the over 300 children in its child diversion program. Child diversion consultant in the ministry Ruth Carey says COVID-19 has impacted some existing mentors' ability to meet or interact with the children.
We are looking for mentors who are interested and willing to participate, both male and female. We do have a definite need for males in the program. We have a range of children who have been diverted from 12 to 18. However, we have a number of males within the population, and therefore we do require a few more males to apply as mentors.
Ms. Carey says 80% of the mentors in the program are justices of the peace, but the ministry is focused on continued sensitization of stakeholders to engage others to join.
So we're focused on targeting justices of the peace, police officers, retired teachers, principals and professionals, or generally young people over 25 who are interested in mentoring. And we're doing this both by virtual sensitizations and face-to-face sensitizations.
Under the Child Diversion Program, mentors are required to commit to spending at least a year in mentoring a child and to spend at least 5 to 8 hours per month engaging with their mentees. And finally, the Ministry of Education says this year it will fully implement the MyHR Plus software and the Education Management Information System, EMIS. Portfolio Minister Favour Williams says steps are being taken to quickly digitize all its processes to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the sector.
It will give us a digitized financial management system for all schools, a digitized attendance reporting platform, a digitized teacher substitution platform, to make it easy to find replacement teachers in the case of absence, a digitized platform to support the reimbursement of funds for the renewal of police records and food handlers permit for early childhood practitioners, a digitized platform to manage school infrastructure and maintenance service.
Minister Williams was making her contribution to the 2021-2022 sectoral debate recently. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Is your facility approved for COVID-19 testing? The Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, through the JANAC Accreditation or Pre-Accreditation Approval Program, validates labs and point-of-care testing facilities such as medical centers. Accreditation safeguards the quality of test results and consumer well-being. Use a JANAC accredited or PAP approved facility for your tests, and let's defeat COVID-19 together. Contact the Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation, confirming competence, providing confidence in the marketplace.
Coming up, the latest announcements by Prime Minister Andrew Holness.
Four-week extension of COVID-19 control measures. Face-to-face school resumes for students sitting exit exams, and low-cost housing design competition launched. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Anthony Morgan.
The existing measures will largely be extended for a 4-week period until the 2nd of June 2021. We have made some changes, some adjustments, because of some imperatives which we can't escape.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness updated Parliament on the COVID-19 containment measures last Tuesday. Putting the measures in context, he says statistics show that the measures have been effective in slowing the spread of the virus, as well as reducing the rate of infections and hospitalization. The weekday curfew hours remain from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. and on the weekend, movement is restricted from 6 p.m. on Saturdays and 2 p.m. on Sundays. On Labor Day, May 24, an all-day curfew will be in place. Jamaica's controlled re-entry program remains in place. This includes a negative COVID-19 test within 3 days of travel to the island and a mandatory 14-day quarantine. The existing travel ban on South American countries has now been expanded to include India and Trinidad and Tobago. Other local containment measures are also still in effect, including the protocols governing public gathering limits, mask wearing and social distancing, as well as the operation of markets, public transportation, funerals, burials, worship services and weddings. Beaches and rivers not under management remain closed. The stay-at-home order for persons 60 and over continues, as do the work-from-home arrangement and rules governing places of amusement and parks. Face-to-face school is now open for students sitting external exams. Classes started yesterday for students sitting PEP, CSEC, CAPE, City and Guilds, as well as other vocational skills examinations. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says this will be done on a rotation basis and under strict COVID-19 prevention guidelines set out by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
We're not proposing that we will have the entire cohort of exam students coming to school all at once. So they will be given a schedule and they will be able to be rotated in. So the school should be able to utilize all its classroom spaces, and the teachers who are there would have to be scheduled in order to deal with them.
Regional education offices will disburse funds for schools to procure sanitization equipment and material. This will include the provision of masks for students who do not have them. In the meantime, Prime Minister Holness says the Ministry of Health and Wellness has been carrying out a thorough inspection of the more than 355 schools approved for face-to-face classes. The inspections are being done to ensure that all protocols are in place and the children are maintaining them when at school. The Education Ministry will also be coordinating transportation support for students to ensure their safety to and from school.
Where there is need for transportation support for students or for families who are experiencing severe financial challenges, this should be communicated to the regional office for special support.
Parents are being advised to provide information on their children's transportation route and distance from school via the Education Ministry's website. Prime Minister Holness says this information will help to finalize specialized support in tandem with the JUTC and Montego Bay Metro. As he joined the nation in celebrating Read Across Jamaica Day on May 4 and Teachers Day on May 5, Prime Minister Andrew Holness had encouraging words for both parents and teachers.
And I know it is very challenging for parents and for teachers. I want to continue to encourage you. I want to tell you thanks as well for the effort that you are making in ensuring that our children still get education at this time. As much as possible and as many times as you can, read to your children.
And a special word was issued to students who are about to sit exit exams.
Block out all distractions. Spend more time preparing, less time worrying, less time playing video games and on social media. You will have enough time to do this after the exams.
And while in Parliament Tuesday, the Prime Minister led the House's tribute to late parliamentarian, Senator and Minister Ambassador Anthony Johnson, who passed away on April 28 at age 82. The ambassador, economist and lecturer, was remembered for his sterling contribution to nation building.
He was, Madam Speaker, an outstanding individual. But more than that, I'm sure everyone who knew him, especially members of the House, would agree that he was a gentleman, an incredibly friendly personality. But above all of that, he was a man of great intellect and great integrity. I'm looking forward to seeing our young architects, our planners come on board. I'm very interested in seeing what the solutions that you bring to the table are, because we are going to take them and put them into practice. The transformation of Jamaica starts now.
That was the Prime Minister on Friday as he launched the low-cost housing design competition. The designs will be used as a model for the National Social Housing Program, which is being undertaken by the HOPE program. Jamaicans at home and in the diaspora are being targeted for the competition, which is opened until 4 p.m. on May 25. Submissions may be done individually or in teams with a maximum of 5 persons. Designs should be low cost, original, climate smart, disabled enabled, and can be configured for the Jamaican terrain. Top 3 entrants will be rewarded prize money of between $250,000 and $1 million. And as a way to celebrate mothers, the Office of the Prime Minister and the Cabinet staged a virtual concert. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.
Insurance packages for workers, developing undiscovered spots and soliciting more investments are all in the works for tourism this fiscal year. Here are the plans expected to make this industry bounce back better and stronger.
Resilience is the word that is used to describe the capacity of tourism to bounce back and to bounce back faster and swifter than any other industry, and then to grow exponentially. So historically, then, as we seek to recover and prepare for the future, we enhance new strategies, a new orientation, and a new ethos that will ensure that the tourism sector becomes more resilient, sustainable, inclusive, and competitive. The tourism sector, like many others, was devastated by the pandemic, which led to the closure of our borders as of March 21, 2020. And for the foreign exchange, which was critical, we generated only 1.3 billion, coming down from 3.7 billion in 2019. All is not lost. Because while we painted that picture of what happened to us in 2020, the good news is beginning to happen. So that starting in January, we had 40,000 visitors. In February, we had 40,076. Small increase, but increased. And then in March, 69,000 visitors. And here the good news, even better, that so far for April, we have gone 50,000 in 18 days. The general outlook for the upcoming fiscal year, Madam Speaker, is quite positive, as we expect to realize growth of 122% on earnings. Sounds big because we're coming from you know where, right? And 236% for arrivals. Of this number, we hope to welcome 1.043 million stopover visitors, which is a 117% increase over last year's stopover numbers. The Norwegian Cruise Lines is the one that's doing the home porting in Montego Bay, just to get it right. Jamaica should have up to 60% coverage of the United States market by the end of May, and we anticipate some 800,000 airline seats, which will become available for the upcoming winter season. That is approximately 70% of the level that we experienced in 2019. We are implementing strategic measures to rebuild a product that is safe, equitable, and generates economic opportunities for more Jamaicans. We must continue to provide much needed support to assist our small and medium tourism enterprises within the industry who are reeling from the effects of COVID-19, including our artisans, our craft vendors, our transportation providers, restaurants and eateries, bed and breakfast, and our farmers. The challenge we have faced in our industry is our investment climate, and the truth is, and I'm very proud to say that the investment climate for tourism is positive. Madam Speaker, our goal to dramatically increase the number of hotel rooms is still on track. And I can safely say that 90% of the planned investment are still on target. over the next 2 years, we will see the development of over 7,000 new hotel rooms, providing more than 20,000 new part-time and full-time jobs in the region. The St. Thomas Destination Development and Management Plan has been completed and will be unveiled within this fiscal year. The plan has identified 51 projects for implementation over the decade to 2030, of which 40 projects will be led by the Ministry of Tourism. We will then complete the work that we started on Negril, on the Negril development, and then we will move from there to structure the overall tourism strategic and action plan for Jamaica. We'll be resetting the Jamaican tourism, and we'll identify and establish innovative policies, systems, protocols, and standards that assure our visitors a safe, secure, and seamless experience while building out a new national tourism model based on a diversified portfolio of unique and authentic attractions and activities which draw heavily on the Jamaica's natural and cultural assets.
Government has doubled down on efforts to protect inmates from contracting COVID-19. Regular testing and other measures are being implemented to keep those in penal institutions as safe as possible. Watch this.
Prior to COVID-19 reaching Jamaica in March 2020, the Ministry of National Security was putting measures in place to protect those in its care, a population of 3,700 within the penal system. The strategy was multi-layered, including measures to prevent or delay the virus from entering any of the 11 adult and juvenile correctional facilities and minimize the impact of any outbreak. So as early as January last year, the Department of Correctional Services, DCS, began sensitization sessions about the potential threat of the virus with key members of its medical team and representatives. In addition, a comprehensive contingency plan was prepared, internal education campaign for staff and inmates undertaken, hand sanitization and wash stations erected, and a COVID-19 task force established. Further to that, measures were taken to stop external visitors from entering the compound, and suitable areas for quarantine and isolation were identified. Minister with responsibility for the DCS, Matthew Samuda, says the wearing of masks and social distancing were enforced daily.
Staff and other persons accessing the correctional centers or any other offices were subjected to a temperature screen, and later a verbal questionnaire was added to this, as most persons were not febrile and the initial measure alone was not effective as a screening tool. A sanitation project was undertaken which involved the inclusion or the increase significantly in water storage facilities across our facilities. Despite these preventative efforts, DCS recorded positive cases of COVID-19 in 7 of its facilities, with the worst outbreaks occurring at the South Camp Adult and South Camp Juvenile Correctional Centers.
With this revelation came heightened safety measures from the Correctional Department's medical team.
They instituted a random swabbing system using a 1 in 3 method when cases are found. Samples were taken immediately from cell inmates. Other symptomatic inmates were also sampled randomly from dorm or block. The staff also maintained a good working relationship with parish health departments, who stepped up to assist with testing in facilities whenever there were positive cases, initially locking down potential spread. Staff and inmates were required to adhere to quarantine orders, and new admissions were segregated from the inmate population for 2 weeks and monitored daily for infection. Like all penal institutions, the DCS is designated as high risk for outbreaks of infectious diseases.
As at April 1, 2021, a total of 880 inmates and wards were tested for COVID-19. Of that number, 739 tested negative, while 141 were positive. At that same period, recoveries numbered 126, with 15 active cases. As for the staff population, 489 were tested for the virus, of which 325 results were negative and 164 positive. Staff recovery from COVID-19 were 149, with 11 being active cases. Unfortunately, the Department of Correctional Services suffered 5 deaths, 3 staff and 2 inmates. Minister Samuda commended the staff for working in a high-risk environment, as well as the medical team for their early detection of the virus and prompt removal of infected persons.
Despite the challenges to our day-to-day operations, they have stayed resolute. They have stuck to the recommendations of the WHO for those who are incarcerated, and they have performed admirably. We have used the basic science in this management, reduced interactions, whether by external visitors or inter-block exchanges. We have put in place the necessary sanitation mechanisms. We have also started the process and in some cases made the infrastructural changes to facilitate greater ventilation.
Inmates were also acknowledged for their involvement in the fight against COVID-19.
Inmates in the management of COVID-19 cases at Tower Street have also been notably successful in their approach. They have worked as medical orderlies, which have helped significantly in reducing spread. Additionally, we trained both staff members and well-behaving inmates to be able to supplement the efforts of our health staff.
Minister Samuda says the fight to contain the spread among staff and inmates was not without challenges. These include staff burnout, anxiety by staff and inmates during periods of outbreaks at facilities, and disruption to in-person rehabilitation activities and court hearings.
We've had to turn chapels into isolation spaces and quarantine spaces. We've had to turn classrooms into hospital spaces when we've needed to, which have affected how the prisons are operating. So the things we have had to do to prevent, well, to prevent entry, prevent spread when we've had entry of the virus into our facilities, to provide the care required, are things that we know we had to do, are things that all of the recommendations from all of the globally recognized agencies said we were to do.
The Ministry of National Security says despite the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, the Department of Correctional Services has mitigated the effects admirably. This relative success is due to foresight and planning of the leadership team. The ministry assures that lessons learned over the past year in dealing with the pandemic will be used to counter any future challenges that may arise.
You've reached the final page of the magazine. Thanks so much for being with us on today's journey. Another Jamaica Magazine unfolds tomorrow, so come back same time on this same station. Until then, go to our website, YouTube channel and social media pages for more informative features. While there, please subscribe to our pages and channels so you can stay in the know. I'm Adrian Atkinson, reminding you to mask up, sanitize and stay 6 feet apart.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.